Sonos is getting a new CEO.
I just saw that.
Hmm.
What took so long? One asked. So I haven't read the story yet, but did they give a reason?
We all know the reason.
I know, but did they give a reason?
I
You
think it
know, in
was
other
like
words,
just stagnant growth or whatever. But I mean, we all know why. The new
this
CEO
is
come in and just
cautionary tale.
just say
Sorry.
we're bringing the old app back, and they would be put
Well,
onto a
yeah.
chariot of gold and prance through the streets.
Well, okay. So I don't think that matters anymore. At this point,
It
you know what I
does.
mean?
I still hate the new app.
Well, no, I mean I think at this point it's like okay, we just this is the app. Like it's fine. Like it's honestly it's better looking. It's I don't use it a lot, which is why I can be semi
See,
positive
I
about it.
use it more than I'd like to acknowledge.
I just every once in a while I just kind of turn it on, look at it, and like okay, like like I updated the firmware on one of my speakers the other day. Like just kind of took a look at it. It's I just prefer using AirPlay. I use AirPlay every day.
See, here's where it breaks down, or why it annoys me.
Okay.
So there's groups or whatever. We use groups all the time, depending on what we're doing in the house or wherever,
Hmm.
is watching TV or wherever. The problem is my daughter will, even though I have volume limits set on TVs, she will continue to whatever, just crank it as loud as it can go for whatever. Doesn't matter the time of the day, hour,
Sure.
whatever. So you have to open it up and then trying to, if a device was previously in a group and then you're trying to control it as a TV,
Hmm.
it it the previous way was just better than trying to swipe. Well, it's not even. Yeah, you have to swipe up from that little thing and then
I
find
know.
it, which
Yeah.
is way different than if they're in a group. Because if they're in a group and you want to change the volume, you have to tap it. Which, if you're
I
listening to
know.
this thinking
Yeah.
like, man, that's pretty simple. Like it.
No, it's there's a there's a I don't know what to call this. It's kind of a fallacy in user interface design where people will describe something as being intuitive when in
Mm-hmm.
fact most things are learned skills, right?
Yeah.
And I think the problem with the that still exists. This is what you kind of just touched on this literally with is there was kind of a learn well the the previous app was more intuitive in the sense that it was more like all of the other apps we've ever used in our life where we select things and they do whatever they do. Like it made sense. This one, you have to learn a new way to doing things. And actually, like you said, really two ways. And it's not intuitive. It's not like you don't have that muscle memory thing where you do it one time and you're like, oh, okay, this works like that other thing I'm familiar with. Like it's just unfamiliar. So uh, you can get used to it, but you could get used to anything, right? You can get
Mm-hmm.
used to having cancer if you want. I mean, it doesn't mean it's great. Like, I just don't. Yeah, I I'm looking at it now just to sort of because I try to avoid it, but the yeah, I find
Like the home screen that you land on
yeah,
to me, where it says yours. Oh God, Jesus, my furnace just turned on. Actually, the humidifier turned on, which just scared the hell out of me. Which is probably if you've watched this video back, you'll see me jump.
okay.
But that
Anywho,
like where it has like your services, Sonos favorite,
I,
like that stuff is all just useless. I would just
it's
want to open
absolutely
this thing
pointless.
up and
I also
have
like that my preferred service is Sonos Radio by default, a thing I have never once listened to on purpose.
right what they. I get what they want to do. They want you to be the Sonos app to be the center of all music services, but it's not. It's
It's
if
never going to be.
it's never going to be. Spotify will always be better. You go into Spotify, you just pick your speakers and hit play, and then it's done. That is how it will be.
Yep. I
Anyways.
look, you see this all over personal tech. Like you make this thing that's good, you're good at it. It's hardware in this case. The central innovation is the grouping and smart, whole home audio, whatever you want to call that. Okay. But, Apple has a system for this. Uh, Amazon sort of has a system for this. Google has a system for this. You integrate with Apple's system, so that works good. There was a while there where you're doing it with Google, but now you guys have a little problem going on and you can't do that anymore. And ultimately, what people want is most people are kind of, I would say, phone centric, or you could call it ecosystem centric, and they pick up their Android phone or their Apple iPhone, and they just want to frickin' play music. you know, and they do not care about your stupid interface and your stupid way of doing things. And I, uh, uh, not giving them that choice, I think, is a big problem. I was going to say the problem. Honestly, Sonos has got all kinds of problems, but I just every time I go to this app, I have the same like kind of reactions. Like one is like, it's okay. Like visually, it's okay, but it's also it's
But the
annoying.
old one was better because it
Well,
got you
yeah,
to do what you needed to
it was
do.
better in certain ways. I mean, I it was also, I think, the thing that gets left out of this discussion is the old app was terrible too. That was my central problem with Sonos. Like if you go back a year, was that app.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hated that app.
Oh yeah.
That they somehow made it worse is hilarious. But this kind of enshittification is not any different than anything. Honestly, it's just a dramatic example of it, right? I just reset my Surface Laptop 7 over the weekend. There's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the things I did was upgrade it to Windows 11 Pro, right? Because it comes with Home,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter why, but one of the differences between Windows 11 Home and Pro is that when you set up that computer for the first time, Home does not give you an option in the UBI to say yes or no to folder backup. It will just enable folder backup in time with OneDrive. In Pro, and this sounds impossible, but I don't know that anyone has set up more Windows computers than I have. Sometimes you get that option and sometimes you don't. So in my case, I don't actually remember right now. I'd have to go back and look at screenshots, but um, now it uses the term opt out. I don't know if you've seen this. When you get to that screen, if you see it, it will say use Windows folder backup or I'm opting. It says opt out. It literally says opt out. And I sort of hoped like that language change meant they were no longer going to secretly enable it in the back, but they did, you know. So I got the pop up. I got the Windows backup pop up, which I agreed to do, but then made sure folder backup was not enabled. So I was only partially backed up. And then I got up the next morning and folder backup was enabled. And that's the Sonos of Windows right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have this bigger corporate aim that has nothing to do with what you want. They pretend to respect your choice, and then they just do what they're going to do anyway.
Sounds
And
a
I
lot
think this
like
is a lot of
the,
things, right?
yeah.
I pay for Amazon Prime Video, and I have ads. I what? What is that? That's nonsense. I'm not paying extra for no ads. That's stupid. We tried to watch it doesn't matter. Some show on Peacock or Paramount Plus or whatever the hell it was. Who cares? The premium version of that service that you pay for extra for has ads. We're surrounded by stuff that is actively working against us now. This is how the robot uprising starts, Brad. It's little annoying things, and then eventually it's a robot with a gun that turns into some kind of liquid metal if you kill it. I don't know.
Can
Happy
be like a
Monday.
basket weaving, right?
I don't know what's going on anymore, man. It's like, I don't know. We
Yeah,
just
it's new year, right? People got to try more
new
revenue. Or something. I don't.
annoyances. I don't know. Well, like, what is there anything? I wish there
No.
was something I could point to and be like, you know what? Over here in this corner, this one thing, here it is. This thing's awesome. I don't know. I'd have to really think on that one. Do you have anything in your life that's technology related where you're like, you know what? This thing is 100% positive. Yep. It's the off switch on the